Oh, stop.
What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show 24-hour day, back from our break. Remember, you all can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports podcast. Remember, by following and subscribing, you will receive notifications anytime we are streaming live or anytime a KBR Sports podcast is posted to Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, or SoundCloud. Also, don't forget to follow KBR Sports on Twitter at KBR_sports, where we tweet the live links and our show topics before every single show. Also, don't forget, you all can call in to 571-991-0566 to join in on any KBR Sports show topic to talk about whether it's Jabril Peppers, that whole thing going on with his test, whether it's the Thunder and Russell Westbrook and their whole situation and how they fared in the playoffs, or to talk about your own topics that you guys are interested in. Remember, the number is 571-991-0566. You can call in and support the show just like Rudy did, whose call we appreciate. All right, so we're going to jump into this next topic. We're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors and Steve Kerr, who is now seemed like he's going to be sidelined indefinitely due to back complications. And, you know, he's their head coach and everything like that. And a lot of people think that the Warriors are essentially a fair fine without Steve Kerr, since they pretty much were like 40-4 without him.
Something like that.
Yeah, and Luke Walton reeled off 24 straight wins without him and being there. But, Nigel, I mean, how do you think this will affect them down the line? Because coaching is coaching, and I mean...
Coaching is coaching.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the system's there. I mean, the only time it really will affect them, I think, is if they get deep into a game and but even that, I mean, the assistant coaches have been there long enough to know the rotations and to know who to go to at that time. So I mean, like, as long as the system's there, so I do think, like, as long as Mike Brown or the system.
Well, Mike, he's the interim head coach. He's the interim head coach. He'll be the one making.
Who's bumped up to assistant coach?
Huh?
Who's bumped up to assistant coach?
I'm not sure.
It's right on the top of my tongue. I can't think of it right now. Mike Brown's been there long enough to know what to do, what the system is, how to make sure everybody runs their things. And let's just be honest, the roster's good enough that it's really not going to come to effect. As soon as Kevin Durant gets back, I mean, I actually had a question for you.
Okay.
And this kind of ties in with it, I guess. With the Spurs not struggling to beat Memphis, but and the rest of the West, I don't think we think any other team can really beat the Warriors, right? We don't think the Rockets can beat them. No? Okay. How many games do you think Golden State will actually lose going into the finals?
Okay, well, let me address the Steve Kerr thing first. Okay, so I think it could play a big role depending on the opponent. Right now, you're going to get by Portland. You're going to get by Portland. Now, when we start talking about teams like San Antonio, where coaching
that would be the Western Conference.
That would be the Western Conference Finals. When you start getting into Tony's a good coach too, so let's say you play them as well. When coaching really comes into effect, then it's like I think sometimes late game substitutions, certain rotations, like even though they've all been under Steve Kerr, see how he does things. Mike Brown was once a head coach too, and he might start doing things how he would see fit, and he's a defensive coach. So even though, and it's not like he has Steve Kerr to back him on offense, because Steve Kerr had Mike Brown to back him on defensive decisions. In case the defense was off a little bit or something like that, he has Mike Brown there to tell him, hey, guys, we need to do this and do this on defense. Mike Brown's not going to have that with Steve Kerr on the sideline for offensive issues like the Warriors are. And then think, a lot of coaches do differently. Like Phil Jackson, when teams start going on runs and stuff, Phil Jackson elects to not call timeout. And certain coaches, they have their own feel of how they handle those certain things. So that's where I can see the coaching difference coming to really into effect. And then maybe certain lineup changes. Like when you see, like maybe a team will run Kawhi, the Spurs will run Kawhi at the 4 sort of thing for a certain different lineup, and then it's about how you would make adjustments to those different things that are happening. So I think that in that instance, that's where coaching could really come into dire effect. I mean, how would you respond to that? Then after that, I'll address your question.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I said. I mean, late games, I do think it become kind of a big deal. Against the Spurs, I could see it becoming a bigger deal because it is kind of a chess match at that point. And you're the team that potentially, let's not even say that actually, a team that could. It's a rough thing to say too. A team that could give you a challenge. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not like the other teams where you don't have to really tinker with. Like if they play the Rockets, I don't really think they have to tinker with anything to play against the Rockets. The Rockets' lack of defense, I think, will do well enough to get them to. They can just outspoil the Rockets. I mean, let's just be honest here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, late game situation. They get Spurs, but I mean, outside of that, I mean, Mike Brown, like you said, he's a head coach. He coached a 66-win team. He coached a team that went to the finals.
You talking about 2017?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Mike Brown.
I want to say he was a coach for that team. So I mean, he it's not like this is like a guy who's had lackluster success or was like a has been that didn't get anywhere and you can say, well, yeah, LeBron James, but he was still a coach. Yeah. Let's not, you know,
that's true.
Yeah, he's still a coach. He's still a head coach for a team.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was coaching somewhere else too, wasn't he?
Mike Brown,
he was the Lakers. The Lakers. There you go. We don't talk about those times.
Yeah.
Let's skip over those. So I mean, last time he coached was the Cavaliers, and he was fine. He was fine there. So I mean,
the guys that would be backing up Mike Brown would be Ron Adams.
That was the guy I was thinking of. He's been there for a while as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I put 100% trust that those guys will know how to, and Kerr will talk to them between games. It's not like they're doing it like they're just free going into. Yeah. They're still talking with them. Just like how just like how when he didn't miss the first 20 whatever games. Yeah, not 20 games, but 40 games, whatever. Yeah. Luke Walton was constantly in contact with the guy. So I mean, think
about it. How about in game situations where like, even though like, because now think about it, they're just getting Kevin Durant back now. Yeah. So how does he acclimate him into it and everything? Like, what kind of lineups he's gonna run, all that kind of stuff, and then a lot of things. I mean, Steve Kerr might have think about how the offense is kind of catering to running towards through KD at some point. What if now Mike Brown's like, hey, I want it to go through Steph, sort of thing? Because even though Steve Kerr said that, like Luke Walton said he was consistently consulting Steve Kerr, Luke did say that like Steve Kerr let me kind of do my own thing with this, and Steve said I wasn't trying to be overbearing on him or everything. I just gave him my input. So what if in Mike Brown's eyes, he's like, okay, I want Steph doing this, or I want this flowing a certain way, and it kind of messes up. It can mess up chemistry, or he sees certain lineups being more effective than others, or something like that. Like, I wonder if that could possibly have a lingering effect on them, especially if Steve Kerr is supposed to miss prolonged time. And you end up going to the finals. Yeah, huh?
Say might not push the postseason.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And say that goes for prolonged time, you end up playing Cleveland in the finals if you get there, and then it's like, you know what I mean,
or
like
Washington,
or what? I mean, most likely Cleveland, or Washington, or Boston, or whoever. I'm not going to discredit. Okay, you're right. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I am right. Okay. I'm not going to discredit the Eastern Conference, the rest of the Eastern Conference team, but the fact that you're going to have to make coaching adjustments against those teams, and they're going to be pivotal adjustments, especially if you're playing a LeBron James, a John Wall, or Isaiah Thomas, whoever else, you know, Greek Freak, whoever you want to say. Greek Freak. That's as far as I'll go. That's as far as I'll go.
They're about to be down 3-1. Can't give us credit to a team that's 2-2 though. I feel you.
Can't go that far. All right. So what we're gonna pose me the question you just. I kind of forgot it.
I said, how many games do you realistically see the Golden State Warriors losing going to the finals? Because and we should say most likely they're gonna play Rockets next series. And then they'll play the Spurs next year, the Western Conference Finals. So
they don't play the winner of Utah and Los Angeles?
I'm bugging. They do play. They're 1-4. 1-4. Yeah. So they would play the winner of the
Jazz and the Clippers.
Yeah.
If they play the Jazz, I see the Jazz getting a game.
Okay.
Because of just how defensively stout they are.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I think Golden State might run them off the.
That's
court.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they would probably run them off the court. It's not like Golden State slouches either on defense.
Yeah. Okay.
So I
still say game.
I thought that what series did I think somebody would get a game in?
Portland.
Did I think Portland was gonna get a game? I thought I said sweep.
No, you said sweep for.
I said sweep for Pacers. I said sweep for. I thought I said sweep for Portland. Yeah, I said sweep for Portland.
He maybe did. Maybe I don't know who said 5.
Yeah, I think you said 5. I don't know who said 5. I said the Memphis series would be gritty.
You did. Yeah, you're right about that. I thought it was gonna be done in 5, and they're still going.
Well, see, it just feels weird to say a team doesn't have a game in them to win one game,
especially in the second round.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like that's just. But the way these teams are getting hurt now. And I say it because Gordon Hayward now he's dealing with illness.
Yeah, but he should be okay.
Rudy Gobert had the same injury that Kevin Durant had.
Well, he's back though.
He's back, but think about Kevin Durant came back and then he had to sit out for whatever.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, the foot injury.
No, he had a knee injury.
Rudy Gobert did.
Yeah, he had a knee.
Oh, I thought he had a foot injury.
No, he had a knee injury.
Okay, so, well, if his knee acts up or whatever, but if Gordon Hayward's forced to miss time, they don't have enough firepower to match. I mean, they already don't have enough firepower to match up with Golden State. So you literally have to catch Golden State on an off night. On a bat, and this is where I think the Steve Kerr thing can come into play in terms of how coaching matters. But If you want to say they get tested in the sense that these are going to be tight, rough games, yeah. But I'm seeing like sweeps, bro. Damn. I don't see Utah standing.
The real question I have for this: what's the the best record going to the finals?
Well,
all time best playoff record, I should say.
15-1 by the Lakers.
My question is, do you think?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. No way. I mean, that Laker team was so dominant, and they literally turned on that switch.
They did. Shaq turned on the switch. Everybody turned on the switch, but Shaq definitely was.
Yeah. But I'd say that if you play Cleveland in the finals, right? Yeah. Because Cleveland's gonna get some games.
So my point was there though. Okay, let's say how I could see it happening. I don't think it's gonna happen like this, but how I could possibly see it happening. They sweep right. They're gonna sweep Portland. They play let's say the Clippers get through. Clippers are tied 2-2. Let's say the Clippers get through. They do have home court. Clippers get through. They already own the Clippers.
Yes.
Badly. With Blake Griffin.
Badly.
And Chris Paul.
Badly.
No Chris Paul? Probably a sweep. No, there's no offense. I mean, just Chris Paul can't do it by himself.
He can't. I mean,
and Jamal Crawford will not play that well again. I guarantee you against the Warriors.
You really just.
I had no problem with them. Anyway, and so they get to the Spurs. The Spurs aren't looking great.
It's a matchup. It's a matchup though. It's a matchup problem. Memphis. I tell you right now. I think Memphis would get a game against the Warriors. Because of that, it's a matchup. Yeah, it's a matchup problem. It's entirely a matchup problem. Just because it's the grit and as Rudy would always say, it's the grindhouse. Like, it's literally just a grind playing Memphis. And Kawhi dropped 40. Bro, the Spurs played great basketball. Kawhi dropped 43 points, 6 steals, 8 rebounds. I just don't even know. Like, they had a great game, and then it's like, when you look on the other side of it, they just beat you up and pound you down. Like, remember that one? Granted, I know they didn't have Kevin Durant, but remember the first year that Golden State really was on their championship track, and everybody was like, "Oh, they're gonna have," or everybody was kind of speculating. Okay.
I'm actually looking at it right now. They went 6 games.
The first year, right?
Not the first year, the 2015, their first championship year.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I have an iffy feeling about them. We have another call from my main man Rudy. Rudy, what is going on, bro? Give us your thought on the Warriors and the Grizzlies, bro. Give me your thought. I know that's exactly what you were calling about.
Well, you know that only a special trigger word can get me to call that quick, and it's the grind house. Nobody goes into the grind house and comes out alive.
Oh gosh! So I mean, so you think Golden State would? How many games do you think they would have to go? They played the Grizzlies.
At least 5. I could see 6. Let us not sleep on the guy with the biggest heart in NBA, and that's Mr. Mike Conley.
Oh, I think I said Joel again, but okay.
Mike Conley does have a lot of heart. Yo.
He does, but
a lot of heart.
Nigel's not seeing it. Nigel's not seeing it.
I'm just really not seeing it.
Is it the Kevin Durant factor?
He dropped.
Yeah,
he dropped 34 the other night. See that's the amazing part about Mike Conley. He can drop 34 and get a tough win at home against the number 2 seed, and people still don't see it.
I don't.
Okay, Rudy.
So my problem is.
Okay, go ahead, Nigel. Say it.
The problem is.
Then you have Mr. Mark Gasol.
Okay.
The new Mr. Big Show.
Wait, Rudy, hold on.
Actually, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Keep going.
I don't know, man. As long as you have Mark Gasol and Conley intact, the catalyst for that series is Zach Randolph. Because I don't know what it is about Zach Randolph, but when he gets into the playoffs, that man turns up to another gear. I've never seen someone so unathletic be about a bucket in my life.
No. Okay. So my main problem, first of all, is they're still garbage on offense. They're just not good on offense, which in the Warriors are by far and away the best offense in the league. And on top of that, they're the number 2 defense at worst. This is different than the Spurs, who have one actual superstar, and then another guy who's just kind of there collecting the paycheck at this point, LaMarcus Aldridge.
You said just a guy collecting a paycheck.
Pretty much. I mean, Danny Green's been atrocious. Tony Parker's been atrocious. Manu Ginobili's been atrocious. I mean, you just go off the list. How many players are bad? How do you really think that the Warriors are going to shoot that bad against the Grizzlies?
No.
Do you think that could be old age catching up to them, though?
Probably.
Green's not that old.
But Danny Green's just been in a slump since All-Star break. But it's just like Klay Thompson going through a slump where he's shooting like, I want to say Danny Green's shooting like, if he's shooting 30%, he's shooting like maybe 29%, something like that in the playoffs right now.
So question, trying to bring a different dynamic to the conversation. Is this the beginning of the window starting to close for San Antonio?
I feel like the minute Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, the window closed.
Can I say I think it was closed last year?
Really?
Yeah. Not like that, but yeah, actually like that. So, like LaMarcus Aldridge. I've always had a problem with LaMarcus Aldridge. He's not a number 2 guy. So putting Kawhi at number 1, fantastic move. Honestly, I never saw him being that kind of guy, but he's turned into that kind of guy. Obviously, 24 points in the fourth quarter and overtime combined. He's that kind of guy. But LaMarcus Aldridge, he got. I remember he got unbelievably hyped when he dropped those back-to-back 40-point games against Houston. He went ice cold for the rest of the playoffs, for the rest of that series. And that's always been the thing with him. He's an inconsistent mid-range big man. That's all he is. He's not a guy who's a number 2 option. He's just not a number 2 option.
All right, Rudy, what do you think?
About LaMarcus Aldridge?
No, about if the Spurs window has closed, sort of thing, and
one second before you go, and just like last year against the Thunder, they got ran through.
I think they're pretty much done because what you're going to see happen with the Spurs is all that talent and all those people that they had that were making them so great for so long are old. Yeah. Tony Parker is old. Manu is old. They don't even have the Red Rocket anymore. They don't have Tim Duncan anymore. So what's going to happen is when these guys eventually start to retire, Kawhi Leonard's going to be left on an island with no talent, and then they keep getting quick record. So they have to keep, drafting and hoping that these late first round and second round guys do the job. And that's if Pop stays.
Yeah.
So okay, let me ask this question because I think we kind of got away from the one of the initial points I wanted to tackle. So are we? So I guess nobody, you two aren't surmising that the Spurs will come out the victors of this series.
Okay. Oh, the Memphis series?
Yeah, the Memphis.
Oh
series.
yeah, I think they'll win the series.
We'll have to see how they perform back in San Antonio. Because if they can't win a road game, if they drop this in San Antonio, what is it, tomorrow?
Yeah.
If they drop this game in San Antonio, they might be done.
Okay, so then who's the better matchup for the Warriors?
You know me for a long time.
Memphis or...
And you know what my opinion on this is? The Grizzlies are typically a nightmare for anyone.
Still.
Because I think that's what the struggle is for the Spurs right now. It's a matchup fight. It's a matchup. I mean, Nigel just seems so unsold. I just don't see it.
I get Nigel's part because the Grizzlies aren't an offensive juggernaut. You're not afraid of going against the Grizzlies. But what the Grizzlies do, and this is why they have the best named arena in all of the NBA, is they grind it out. They grind you out. They physically beat you down over the course of a game to where if game 1 or game 2 you're not feeling it, by game 3 you feel it. Nice. And I honestly believe that's what's happening with the Spurs right now. Game 1 and game 2.
Yeah. The problem I have is...
What'd you say?
The problem I have is... Like, alright. I wouldn't be shocked if they won a game. I would be less shocked if they got swept. But the thing is, the same thing I go with San Antonio.
Spurs or Grizzlies.
That's the thing. I can see the Spurs going 6 at best.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I look at this team and I'm like, Warriors could probably sweep this team, honestly.
The Warriors could sweep the Spurs.
But I don't think they would. But I'd be like, again, I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
But you won't trust Memphis.
No, I would. Heck no.
So you don't think Memphis would get? You think Memphis would get swept?
I think Memphis has a better chance of being swept than win. I feel like 50-50.
So you think Memphis will get swept by the Warriors?
Yeah.
But you think Memphis can beat the Spurs?
No, I don't think they can beat them. I just asked the question.
Also,
is it a tough
the question that isn't being held accountable here is will Kevin Durant be 100%? Because if he's not, and he's still hobbling through things, or if he makes his injury worse, because that's something that people haven't even really talked to. There is talked about. There is a chance he could get worse.
Yeah.
When you go into the series, it's not impossible for us to have seen Klay Thompson and Steph Curry both have shooting woes. They both went through substantial spurts of shooting woes just this season.
Yeah.
And you're going against a team that is and has been one of the better defensive teams in the NBA for a long time. Not just that, but the pure physicality. As you see, the Warriors are a finesse team. They like to do a lot of pretty stuff, throw up a lot of pretty shots. It's cool. It's nice. Let's not forget, the Grizzlies remember getting embarrassed the last time they played them in the playoffs. And this is a team that averages the most fouls in the NBA. They're going to put bodies on these guys. They're going to beat them up. So even if they don't win the games, it could affect Golden State going forward with the matchup in the Western Conference Finals and in the Finals.
It could, but is Tony Allen coming back in the playoffs?
He might, but for this series,
he might. Yeah. And that's the thing I would worry about if I'm the Warriors. The Spurs aren't that physical. They're fundamental. You can beat them by being more athletic than them because they're an older team. The Grizzlies don't really care. If you're finesse, if you're athletic, anything, they're going to beat you up. Win or lose, you're leaving that fight with bruises.
Okay, so Rudy, you tell me, in accordance to Nigel's original question that he asked me, how tested do you think the Warriors will be throughout the rest of the playoffs? Like, do you see them mirroring the Lakers of 2001?
My question is, do you think I think they can go 15. No, 16-2.
Yeah, they have to go 16.
16. Like 16. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 16-2, 16-3. I wouldn't be shocked.
Even if they face the
Cavs.
I
was actually going to say, I think
even if they play the Cavs / Wizards / Boston / the Bulls / Bucks / Raptors / whoever's left in the playoffs.
What I was going to tell you was I could see them losing 3, possibly. And it could be the unexpected 3. Let's say they get Memphis next round. They might lose 2 to Memphis and then beat the Rockets in 5 because they overmatch the Rockets every single time they play them, and they don't have the same defensive pedigree that Memphis does.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, Rudy, I appreciate you calling in, bro. You gave some good. I love the insight. You come in prepared, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I told you this is an amateur hour. I'm not a rookie.
All right, bro. We'll talk to you later.
I'm not new to this. Hey, I need a live draft show, and I need reserve slots for pick 5 and 18.
Between 5 and 18.
No, I just need 5 and 18.
Oh, you need 5 and 18.
There we go.
We got you.
That's the one.
Yeah, we got you on Wednesday.
All right, Rudy. Let's see what we can make happen, bro.
I appreciate it. You guys have a good time, and let's go with Mitch Trubisky. Pick 1.
We actually just talked. Well, you know what? We're gonna come back to that. We'll finish. We'll talk about that at the end because are we at the end?
About to be.
Oh, we were actually
speed round after this.
We were just talking about that. We're going to speed round. Put it on speed round.
All right, Rudy. Talk to you later, bro.
Good night.
All right, bro. All right, y'all. We're gonna transition to our speed round when we come back from our break. Remember, wait for about 20 to 30 seconds for the live link once we end the segment, the live link will disappear. But after the 20 to 30 seconds, it'll be back there for you guys to tune in live. It's KBR Sports, y'all.